Well, Elwin, welcome to Kicking Tables. I'm glad to finally meet you. It's been a few months that we've been talking about having you on the show for Clash of Ardennes. So I want to know all about this game that you've got coming to
Okay.
Kickstarter next week or actually it's coming up very soon, March 2nd.
Yeah,
How you feeling about that? Are you nervous? Are you excited? It's finally hitting Kickstarter.
very nervous. Very. Yeah, of course. I'm very nervous. It's not my first time, but I think I can call it a rather bigger project than my last one. So yeah, it's getting personal right now.
Yeah.
So feeling a little bit well, not as good as I normally do. Yeah, I'm quite nervous, but
Well, that's
uh,
that's to be expected, honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
so tell us about Clash of the Ardennes. What kind of game is it, and how does it play?
Clash of the Ardennes is well, as it says, it's a game with a team, and the team is of course World War II. It's I always call it's a little bit of mix between Risk, Stratego, chess, and rock paper scissors.
Wow,
Um,
that
it's yeah.
that's a
It's
great mix right there.
yeah, I think so too. I like all those games, so that's probably why I invented this. But well, the game, lots of people describe it as a tug of war. I, I didn't know that line. A tug of war is that. I think it's pulling
That's
ropes
that's
normally.
right.
Oh,
Tug of
tug of
war.
war.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tug
Yeah.
of
Tug
war.
of
Yep.
war. So I didn't know that phrase in English. So, but most of the reviewers call it a very good tug of war game. So that's probably what it is. It's sort of pulling ropes together and trying to reach the other side.
Okay.
And
Okay.
And so what's the gameplay? How do you go about doing that?
the goal of the game is to conquer the streets which are described on your objective card. It can be, for example, Conquer Street 1 and Conquer Street 2. And, well, you have your units. In this case, you have tanks, soldiers, and anti-tank mines.
Okay.
Uh, you can lay them down, starting from your own side, and you have to go to reach the other side. When you reach the other side, you conquered a street. And, well, it depends on your objective, of course, which streets you have to conquer.
Okay.
And when you reach that, you win the game. That's quite simple. Only the game plays a little bit. It's more tougher than it sounds.
Okay. Awesome.
So
Yeah.
tell me why the Clash of Ardennes? Why was that battle the one that you sort of chose as the sort of the the focus for this game?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good question. I'm from Holland,
Okay.
and the Netherlands, and of course the Clash of the Ardennes of the Battle of the Bulge. Most people know that one
Hmm.
is played was in Belgium. But I had to have I want to have a World War II team.
Yeah.
Well, the Americans and the Allies won this battle, and it's rather interesting how it worked. And yeah, I have and it's very interesting just to being there in the and going to the cities there and the museums and all the history there. It's everywhere, and it's very interesting.
So this is an area that you're personally familiar with. You visited these streets that are in your game. You visited them personally.
Many times, yeah.
Oh, wonderful. So it's got that little bit of you built right into your game.
Yes, and it's very inspiring. Although it's of course the situation is not good, of course, because it was war and
Yeah.
things happen. But yes, I had to have a team, and when I started thinking about the game, it was like 10 years ago, so it was a long way ago. I was in Croatia drinking some beer during my holiday break. And I came up with the idea, but first it was situated in castles. with knights and cavalry and stuff like that. More sort of risk.
Okay.
So that was my first idea, but at the end, after years fine-tuning, and I think World War II was a theme that suited me better.
So, for first-time players to your game, what are some of the strategies you would suggest they look at doing? So they want to just get in there quick, but what are some strategies that you would suggest you look at doing when you first start playing?
Well, when I also suggested in the rule book, when you start playing, keep it quite simple. The game is based on a sort of a rock, paper, scissors method. Most people know that. In this case, you have a soldier, and a soldier can dismantle an anti-tank mine. The anti-tank mine destroys the tank, and the tank again destroys the soldier. So it's sort of a circle. This is really the base of the game, because when you touch each other, you clash. In this case, that this is what's happening. It's going to have a rock, paper, scissors moment, and it depends on who wins the clash. A lot of things around there are happening, like special units and a lot of strategy you can think of. But I advise people just to play a simple round with just the main units. In this case, the soldiers and the anti-tank mines.
Right. So the clash happens when two pieces meet each other in the street? Because the basic gameplay, if I remember correctly, is you play pieces, and then the last unit always moves forward in the street. So when two units hit each other, that's when you're going to have your rock, paper, scissors. Is that what's happening here?
Yeah.
So the strategy is really thinking of
thinking ahead,
trying to think ahead of what two units are going to meet and be prepared for that.
Yeah, there's always a gap which you have to fill because you want to move forward, but your enemy also, or your opponent also wants to move forward. So in the end, you always clash. But there's a gap between you and your enemy, and you have to fill in that gap with a unit of your choice. And so you decide whether you can place an anti-tank mine, a tank, or a soldier, and does it fit the gap? Right. Does it fit the gap? Then you can place the unit, and well, of course, you have to place the unit which is stronger. So that one wins the clash. So you can move forward.
Okay.
Very neat.
So the game board itself is a very non-traditional board. I really love the idea that it's basically just building the outside edges of a puzzle, and that inside of that gap is your game board. Tell us how you came up with that idea.
Well, years ago it all started with a wooden product, like a chessboard, and then we had. Well, it was too costly to produce everything totally in wood, and it looked unbelievably cool, but it was way too much money for people to pay. So we had to keep it simple. But somebody had the idea, maybe we create something like a puzzle and still keep it from wood, and you can also lay down the tiles inside this battlefield, as I call it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's talk about how the game first started. I always love to hear the history of how a game started versus where it is today. When you first started creating this game, is it now the game you first envisioned, or has it changed a lot since you started, and how has it changed?
It changed a lot. The basics are still there because, as I said, rock, paper, scissors. In this case, tank, soldier, and tank mine. 10 years ago, it was a cavalry, pikeman, and a swordsman. So the swordsman attacks the pikeman. The pikeman can kill the cavalry, and the cavalry again attacks the swordsman. So it's the same basics, but. A lot of things really did change along the way. A lot of things added, especially the special units, was really a thing I wanted to add because it also makes it a little bit more exciting. You can add a spy, for example, or a general, or some mortar, or the command tank. which makes it more fun to play. And those things were added along the way. And what I said, we started with a wooden product. It's still wood, but completely different. So yes, things changed a
It
lot.
also sounds like the theme wasn't World War II when it first started. It sounds like it was medieval.
No.
Medieval,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, because I was in Croatia and there were a lot of castles there, so that's totally where I came up with the idea of the medieval.
It's what's around you.
Yeah, and I came back to Holland and probably had a vacation a year later in Belgium, and then I thought, well, better make it World War II. It's more one of my interests, World War II, so that's probably suited better with me.
Yeah, for sure.
So can you tell us about any of the possible stretch goals you might have, or even maybe any expansion plans that you might be thinking of?
Yes. Well, many people played the game already, reviewed it also. I've probably had 50 reviewers right now. So people already giving me a lot of ideas, and of course very good. But yes, we have some cool stretch goals. One of mine, well, I would say that the quality of the game already is really good. It was one thing I really wanted. So wooden, good box, nice inlay. But yeah, the stretch goals like, how do you call it? It's a sort of, well, we want to add reference cards. I think it's called reference cards.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Which you can have both players have a card beside, so it's more easy to look which one defeats which one.
Okay. Yeah.
Lots of people said maybe add some tokens. You have 4 action points per turn, and people said, well, maybe you can have something that indicates how many action points you have left. Many people need that. But also the cards need to be need a little bit more fine tuning. I want to add more drawings to the cards, maybe different drawings.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course I have to work with an illustrator, and he's done a great job. But still, there are some well, wishes of me where some drawings need to be added, and so that could also be some stretch goals. And yeah, along the way, there probably will be more ideas, and I really have to, how do you call, well, still
Develop them out a bit more.
Yeah, develop them out. Yeah. That's probably what's going to happen, because I already every day there are like 5 more ideas, so there are not too many.
That's all right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what about after Kickstarter is done? You get this, you get it funded, and it gets out to all your backers. Are you planning to get into retail, or are you going to sell it online? What's the plan in the future?
It really depends on how it's going. Really, I think I have already a lot of followers, people who already checked in on Kickstarter. But in the end, it all depends on how things going. I'm honest to say the goal is 6,000 euros, which is quite small. But I do really need something more when it really wants to kick off, because otherwise, if I have 6,000 euros, it's not that much. I really want it well, like 30, 50,000, and after that, I can also think of what to do with retailing the game.
Yeah.
Because when I sell like 200 copies of the game, no, it's then it's not working. So I really need more than that.
Well, that's fair.
And after, then I really have it in the game shops.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome. Well, Elwin, the game sounds fascinating. I'm looking forward to playing it myself. And of course, it hits Kickstarter on March 2nd. So everybody go check that out. The link is in the description below. Elwin, thank you so much for joining us today, and good luck with the campaign.
Thank you. Thank you for having time for me. And we'll rock this Tuesday.
You absolutely will.
Wonderful.
Thank you. Thanks for watching. This Tuesday, March the 2nd, we go live on Kickstarter with Clash of the Ardennes. Check it out, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe on OMG Nexus. Thanks, guys, for having me on the interview. Bye.